SCP-914, SCP-914. The Clockworks is a weird machine that takes an object, does something to it, and gives you back a remix. That's honestly all the setup you need. 2 metal chambers, 1 in 1 out, and a giant key. You turn a big key, the machine rattles for a bit, and boom, new version unlocked. The Foundation found it abandoned already, working with 0 instructions, which is always a great sign. Love that. The danger shows up fast depending on how it's set. SCP-914 can slightly improve an object or turn it into something way beyond human tech. Normal tools come out looking futuristic. Regular weapons suddenly feel like endgame loot. And yes, someone once tried putting a person through it. That ended immediately. My dude did not make it through that experiment. SCP-914 is classified as Euclid because it's not trying to hurt anyone. It's just wildly unpredictable. It stays in its room locked up, heavily supervised, and the Foundation is very picky about what gets tested, because once that key turns, there's no refund. What makes SCP-914 powerful isn't explosions or monsters, it's potential. A machine that upgrades reality without understanding humans is an absolute menace, and every researcher knows it. You turn the key, and hope reality doesn't get any ideas. SCP-294. SCP-294 is a Euclid-class anomalous vending machine that can dispense almost any liquid you ask for. At first, it feels harmless. It sits in a break room, looks like a normal vending machine, takes coins and fills a paper cup. You type in water, soda, juice, easy. But SCP-294 doesn't care what kind of liquid you ask for. If it can be described as a liquid, the machine will try to give it to you. And that's where the danger starts. People didn't stop at drinks. They asked for acid strong enough to eat through metal. Liquids from extinct animals' fluids taken directly from a specific person's body. One careless request pulled blood from an SCP agent without touching them. At that point, everyone realized this machine isn't just making drinks, it's pulling liquid from places it absolutely shouldn't be able to reach. Buddy, that's not a vending machine, that's a boundary violation. SCP-294 is classified as Euclid because it's unpredictable and human curiosity makes it worse. The machine doesn't warn you, it doesn't refuse requests. If you type it incorrectly, it will try to fulfill it. That means a typo, a joke, or a bad idea can turn into a medical emergency real fast. That's why SCP-294 is powerful. Human curiosity doesn't have an off switch, and in the wrong hands, this machine could absolutely push the world toward disaster. SCP-500? SCP-500 is a small bottle of red pills that can cure almost any disease. If someone hands you a red pill and a blue pill and says red one heals everything, blue one makes you rich, most people grab the red without thinking. Me, I'd pause. Because a miracle pill that fixes everything is exactly how SCP stories start going sideways. At first glance, SCP-500 looks painfully boring. Just a plastic bottle with a few red pills inside normal pills. But each pill is basically a real-life cheat code. You swallow one and within a couple hours your body hits the reset button. Infections, genetic disorders, terminal illnesses gone. Like magic, huh? Here's the real problem, and it hits fast. There are only a few pills left. No recipe, no restock. Once they're used, that's it. So every time someone swallows one, the Foundation has to play judge, jury, and healer. Who gets the miracle, who doesn't? And yeah, SCP-500 is technically safe class, which sounds insane for something this powerful. But the danger isn't the pill, it's the choice. Are you sure that humans won't tear each other apart to get their hands on this pill, bro? And that's also why SCP-500 is dangerous because it also to some extent reveals the greedy nature of humankind. SCP-055. SCP-055 is an anomaly that the SCP Foundation knows exists but cannot remember or describe. That already sounds fake, I know. But here's the wild part. SCP-055 is sitting in containment right now, and nobody can tell you what it looks like, what it does, or even why it's dangerous. Every time someone studies it, the details just slide right out of their brain. Notes get written, reports get filed, and then gone. It's like trying to remember a dream 5 minutes after waking up. You know it mattered, but your brain says nope. Researchers have figured out a few things by accident. They know SCP-055 is not round. That's not a joke, that's real data. Everything else deleted by your own memory. It's basically an anti-meme, like an internet post that deletes itself the moment you understand it. Bro, even the Foundation gets ratioed by this thing. SCP-055 is classified as Keter because containment doesn't actually mean control here. You can lock it in a room, but you can't lock it in your head. Guards forget what they're guarding, scientists forget what they're studying, and if you can't remember the threat, you can't react to it. That's why SCP-055 is powerful. It doesn't attack cities or end the world, it just removes knowledge. and a world that can't remember its dangers is already halfway cooked. SCP-2000. SCP-2000 is a massive hidden system designed to reset human civilization after the world ends. That sounds dramatic because it is. SCP-2000 sits deep underground disguised as something painfully boring, and it only activates when humanity is already beyond saving. Think of it like the world's most expensive backup save file. When extinction-level disasters hit meteors, anomalies, reality, straight up breaking this thing boots up and starts rebuilding us from zero. And it doesn't just repopulate the planet. SCP-2000 rebuilds everything. People, cities, history, culture, sometimes with edits. Memories get reloaded, records get adjusted. If something caused the apocalypse, SCP-2000 quietly removes it from the next version. It's like restarting a game after a bad ending, except the characters don't know they've been restarted. That's unsettling. Here's the part that should make you pause. This has already happened, more than once. Humanity has ended SCP-2000 ran and nobody noticed. Your entire life could be version 2 or 3 and you'd have no way of knowing. Let that sit for a second. SCP-2000 is classified as Thaumiel because the Foundation uses it to contain other SCPs. But the real danger isn't the machine, it's the power behind it. If you can reset humanity, you also get to decide what version comes back. And trusting anyone with a reset button for the world, that's the real risk. SCP-2700. SCP-2700 is an anomalous device capable of reversing entropy, meaning it can undo the natural direction of time and energy. That's why SCP-2700 was reclassified from safe to Keter. Not because it's aggressive, not because it lashes out, but because if its core ever destabilizes, the result isn't an explosion. It's everything collapsing into a single impossible state. Think less action movie, more cosmic hard reset. Only after that do you learn what this thing actually does. SCP-2700 looks like a complicated machine packed with coils, controls, and enough warning labels to stress out any engineer. But the real problem isn't how it looks, it's what happens when it's running. Energy stops spreading out and starts snapping back into order. Heat flows the wrong way. Systems stabilize instead of breaking down. Bro, that's not a gadget, that's reality being told to sit down. The simple version is this things that should fall apart, don't. Heat doesn't fade, damage doesn't spread, stuff that should break just snaps back into place. And when that happens everywhere, not just in one room, the basic rule that keeps the universe stable stops working. That's why SCP-2700 is powerful. It doesn't punch cities or shoot lasers. It just quietly breaks the one rule reality runs on, and once that rule is gone, there's no customer support to call. SCP-001 when day breaks. You're probably not a stranger to SCP-001 when day breaks by now. The scenario where sunlight becomes deadly to all living things. So let's skip the long explanation and get straight to why this is one of the most powerful SCP ideas ever. The danger here isn't a monster, a weapon, or a secret device. It's the sun. The same thing that wakes you up, grows your food, and keeps the planet alive. You can't fight it, you can't contain it, and you definitely can't turn it off. That alone puts humanity in checkmate. When it starts, life doesn't end in one big moment. It just becomes impossible. Stepping outside means you're done. Sunlight through a window is enough to kill you. Even light bouncing off buildings counts. So people do the only thing they can, they hide. Basements, subway tunnels, sealed rooms underground. Humanity turns into a species that can't go outside anymore. What really makes this SCP hit hard is that the victims don't disappear. They're still conscious. They still talk. They try to convince survivors that going outside is safe now. That's not a creature chasing you. That's the environment lying to you. SCP-001. When Daybreaks is powerful because it doesn't punch humanity out, it turns the map itself against you. When the thing that keeps you alive is also what kills you, yeah, that run was doomed from the start. That SCP-3125, the enemy. SCP-3125 is a hostile idea that destroys anyone who becomes aware of it. Yeah, read that again. This isn't a monster, a virus, or some glowing object in a box. Just an idea, and knowing about it is enough to get you erased. There's nothing to react to, and nothing to resist. Awareness alone is enough to end you before your brain even realizes something went wrong. That's why this is one of the most powerful SCP ideas ever. You can't contain it with walls. You can't shoot it. You can't even study it normally because the act of understanding it is what kills you. It's like a spoiler so dangerous that reading it deletes you from reality. Bro, even Google wouldn't touch this. The Foundation's only real defense is playing dumb on purpose. They hide information, wipe memories, and keep entire teams in the dark just to slow it down. Imagine fighting a boss in a game where the tutorial itself is lethal. My dude, that's not hard mode, that's unfair mode. SCP-3125. The enemy is powerful because it attacks the one thing humans rely on to survive: knowledge, making awareness itself a direct vector of annihilation rather than a source of understanding. And when knowing the enemy is what gets you killed, the smartest move is to never learn at all, not because the threat is hidden, but because comprehension itself is fatal. SCP-3125, as below, so above Anafabula. SCP-3125 is below. So above, Anafabula is an anomaly that causes things to stop existing by breaking the narrative they belong to. Here's the weird part: SCP-3125 doesn't show up as a thing. It shows up as a gap. People talk about a movie, a book, a game, something that clearly mattered, but when you try to find it, there's nothing there. No creator file or origin. It's like everyone remembers a viral hit, but reality forgot to save it. Man, that's not a glitch, that's a problem. The danger isn't destruction, it's timing. SCP-3125 only acts once something feels real and familiar, then deletes the source and lets confusion do the rest. The scary part is that normal life keeps going. People don't panic. Conversations still make sense until you notice they shouldn't. The Foundation can't contain SCP-3125 in a room or shut it down with a button. All they can do is monitor stories that start folding in on themselves and hope they catch it early. SCP-3125 is one of the most powerful SCP ideas because it doesn't erase bodies or cities. It erases meaning specifically by deleting the narrative structures that give those bodies and cities context and continuity. And when the story holding reality together disappears, everything else eventually follows, not through immediate destruction, but through the slow collapse of coherence itself. SCP-3812. SCP-3812 is an anomaly that can rewrite reality based on how it perceives the world. That already sounds broken, but here's why this thing sits at the top of the most powerful SCP ideas list. SCP-3812 doesn't follow reality, it outranks it. The more it becomes aware of something, the more it changes it, like a character who suddenly realizes they're inside a story and starts arguing with the narrator. Bro really said, "Nah, I don't like this timeline." The scary part isn't raw power, it's instability. SCP-3812 doesn't fully understand what it's doing, and neither does anyone else. Reality shifts around it in sudden jumps, places vanish, events rewrite themselves, concepts quietly stop working. The Foundation tried containment, didn't work. They tried limits, also didn't work. SCP-3812 doesn't break out of cells, it just stops caring about them. When something exists on a higher narrative level, walls are just suggestions. The problem with SCP-3812 is that it doesn't know what it's breaking. It keeps adjusting reality like someone messing with settings they don't understand, and the damage isn't dramatic, it's constant. Nothing fully settles, nothing stays finished, and the world never feels done again.